G'day. I promised a few videos of the last few days for emotional trauma and a new video on MGTOW and feminism. With what's happened in London and in Manchester and in the Middle East, I think I've got another video that I want to share right now. It's a bit of a long bow. It's something that I've been thinking about. I mean, the events have just been negative and impact negative on me. And, my heart goes out to all the victims, their families. Yeah. Look, first and foremost, I condemn all terrorism. I condemn the loss of life. There's no reason that terrorism should be condoned at all, and I condemn it. However, I'm going to say some things, what I feel, and this is coming from somebody who used to be very religious. And this is going to tie into narcissism, psychopathy also. So this is going to be quite a long video. Couple of things that need to be taken into effect. One, I'm no longer religious, I'm actually atheist. I don't believe God or any gods exist. You see, when idiotic events like this happen, okay, why would a God that is so-called compassionate, kind, and loves his creations would allow us to kill each other? Yeah, you could say that it's all a test and it's all free will. No, I just don't get that. I mean, we wouldn't allow our children, when they're children, to behave in such ways. We discipline them, we teach them, we bring them into a sort of line. And so if we take that as us, the species, human beings, if we are the creation of this so-called God, and we are his children or her children or its children, don't you think that we should be brought into line? Yet, attacks and attacks happen. And nothing is done. It just gets worse and worse. So you're saying, so I'm supposed to believe, and people tell me, oh, it's just a big test and God's going to judge those at the end. No, I just don't get it. I mean, look, I was an Orthodox and then a Catholic and then a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, I've been through the gambit. And they all manipulated the Bible into their own way of thinking. It just wasn't right. And that's all the religion is for me. Mainstream religion and pretty much everything organized is manipulation and control. And the more and more I see it, these bishops, these clerics, these imams, there's a lot of psychopaths in power, narcissists up there in the high range chain. But as we know, narcissists can appear to be charming, captivating. That's how they get people. So there's somebody high up in a church or a mosque or that, and they can wield so much influence on somebody else. Secondly, I have to blame Western countries' diplomacy and foreign policy going back to the 1950s, 60s and 70s. It has led up to terrorist attacks happening in Western capitals and cities. Okay, I really believe that it's only certain countries now getting attacked by terrorists. You don't see somebody in Czechoslovakia or the Czech Republic or Croatia or Finland getting attacked. It is happening of those countries that have bombed or supported and had military weapons used in the bombing of these countries over and over. That includes the United States, France, Germany, and the UK. There's no justification in terrorist acts, but I can understand where the radicalization happens when some family member has lost his or her family to who is an innocent civilian in these countries, Iraq or Syria. They've got nobody else to turn to but to some radical bastard who's going to basically tell them these are the people to blame. And who knows the agendas of our governments? Seriously, we elect them, but what do we really know of the agendas of our governments? We have seen the deals with Saudi Arabia, who are, let's just say, many of the terrorists in the early 2000s and late 2000s were Saudi Arabians. Thirdly, our government's allowing hate groups to pop up. This is the perfect social conditioning for people to hate somebody different. Just like the radical ISIS and other groups are saying the people in the West are to blame. They're all putting bullshit in people's heads. I do not condone drone bombings. I do not condone Western imperialism. So people have to understand that there's a cause and effect. There's an action and reaction. People in revenge are going to hit out. And through some radicalization, where their fucking thoughts go crazy, they are being radicalized by narcissists and psychopaths. And that is what, for me, religion is. Psychopathy. It's a belief system that is so rigid that it just warps your mind. And that's what a relationship with a narcissist or friendship with a narcissist is as well. It warps your mind. Look, this is just my views. This is just, I've been all over. I've been religious. I've been far right wing in my life. I've been in a narcissistic relationship. I now see kind of beyond the reasoning. You see, imagine a people that actually see what their governments are doing. Imagine if we had more of a democracy. We had a scope into these secret meetings the governments have, these deals governments make with other governments. Imagine if we got to see all that, the security briefings. I reckon we'd be shocked. I reckon there would be revolution on the street. Because the way we're going as a species, we are so failing. We are moving towards nuclear Armageddon as a race. If we have blind trust in our governments, and if we allow religion to be such a crucial thing in our lives, and we don't think rationally and with our mind rather than our heart, we will actually realize that religion is just simply a faulty thought process. these radicalized people who strap on bombs or kill people in bars and hotels, they're believing in a mythical being. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go to heaven and have 70 virgins. Or some bloke who's bombing a abortion clinic believes that God's going to congratulate him when he gets to heaven. You know, for me, this is the maxim I live by. Until there is proof that God exists, God does not exist. Until there is proof, rather than the Bible, you know, there's more proof that actually evolution exists than creation. You know, we have to understand one thing. The media, our governments, and the terrorists have one agenda: to keep us in division. And many people will go along with it. You know, they fear, they worry. But they don't understand that it's a cycle, it's a destructive cycle. The narcissists are playing their mind games. The psychopaths, the sociopaths, the crazies, they are the ones in charge of religions, of governments. And when there comes across an individual that maybe will stir the pot in politics, he or she, something will happen to them that they will never get into power. Never. That's just my thoughts. I mean, look, again, there's no justification of human loss of life on any part. What the terrorists have done and are doing is wrong. What our governments are doing is completely wrong too. I think if we were not in the Middle East and we didn't continue to be in the Middle East playing regime change, oil games and fucking pitting one group against each other and creating a fundamentalist group that then turn on people, we wouldn't have this problem. You know, don't blame the refugees. Don't blame individuals. Let's blame the mechanics of what is causing all this. It is corruption, it is greed, and it is a vast network of militarism, narcissism, and power. That's what it comes down to. Look, I know I'm in the minority. I've been criticised for my view, but I'm putting my view out there. Valet, and my heart goes out to all the victims in the Middle East, in Manchester, in London, and all other terrorist attacks. Bye.